This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, more than $9,000 have been raised for mental health awareness through a mullet growing initiative. After a hectic year at Forsyth Bar Stadium, the turf is now being ripped up and re-sown during a quiet patch. And the team looking after penguins on the Otago Peninsula are pleased to have heaps of healthy chicks this season. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. More than $9,000 have been raised for mental health awareness through the mullet growing initiative Mullets for Mental Health. Started by Invercargill firefighters in September, Saturday marked the last day of the campaign to get people talking about mental health.
Sporting the 1970s and 18 hairstyle known as the mullet is getting these Invercargill firefighters quite the reputation. Their hairdo can be a no-go area for classy hair salons, but Michael Dyack of Invercargill's Chaos Hair says the Mullets for Mental Health idea has already saved one life.
A young guy came into our shop and I said, "Oh, we're going to cut this mullet for you. It's a great idea for you to do this. It's to support mental health." And he was very cagey about it, and we got into a conversation after that. And he actually was going to kill himself. And we, like they're saying, we started a conversation, and I dragged him out on the golf course and had a yarn with him. You know, he had a beer out there with him, and through what Walker and Ben and Don started, they've saved someone's life already.
The much maligned mullet, or moulet in fancier circles, has been the object of derision for decades, which is part of the motivation for Invercargill's fire and emergency crew members to grow mullets for mental health. Dyack says getting men to admit vulnerability is a huge thing.
Very inspirational for myself and my wife and our staff to see, especially men, open up and be a little bit more honest about what's going on with them instead of the typical, how are you? Yeah, good, you know.
The hair salon has been giving $10 for every mullet it cuts, contributing to more than $1,400 so far. Senior firefighter Walker Miller says the campaign began in September and has raised around $9,000 for the Mental Health Foundation.
Mental Health Awareness Week at the end of September, so three of us kicked off the project, which was the Mullets for Mental Health project, where we were trying to raise awareness in our community and some funding for the Mental Health Foundation so that we could make a bit of a difference in our community.
Miller says, like Michael Dyack, the firefighters are keen to change attitudes towards mental health and are using the mullet as a conversation opener. The firefighters say wearing mullets has made them the targets for some verbal banter, but say after getting stick from people, they turn it around into conversations about feelings.
We were hoping by having something on the outside of our heads that would stimulate conversation, people might be more open to talking about what's happening on the inside of their heads. And I just blatantly stole it from you, eh? It's all good.
It's not known whether Mullets for Mental Health will become a regular part of suicide awareness in the South. In Invercargill, the South Today.
A fire overnight caused extensive damage to one of New Zealand's oldest hotels. Fire and Emergency New Zealand were called to the incident at the ancient Brighton Hotel in Naseby at about 1 a.m. Fire and Emergency New Zealand say the back of the hotel was well involved with fire when the first crews arrived. Fire crews from Naseby, Ranfurly, Ormeco and the command unit from Alexandra attended. It took about 2 hours to put out the fire. Crews had left the scene by around midday. The building was occupied when the fire started, but everyone got out and no one was injured. A reporter at the scene this morning says the hotel was cordoned off and damaged contents were being removed from the building. After a hectic year at Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium, the turf is now being ripped up and re-sown, hopefully creating a lush field of grass by February. The returfing had been scheduled for the end of next year, but was brought forward to fit into the break between events over the next 2 months.
Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium's turf manager Michael Watson keeping a close eye as contractors rip into his turf, skimming off the top 2 centimetres of grass and leaving behind a few strands of real grass and some synthetic grass.
and they're exposing all the deso fibres which we've got in the soil. You might be able to see a wee green tinge out there. We're just ripping off the top layer and exposing all those artificial fibres that are pretty much in the whole soil profile. And once that's done, we'll kind of re-level everything and get some fertiliser at it and plant some grass seed in a couple of days.
The thousands of people attending events such as the Home and Living Show may not have realised the grass in the stadium is partially artificial. The turf uses a stabiliser system called Deso Grassmaster, where the natural turf is reinforced with millions of long artificial fibres that keep everything together. But as the grass grows, the soil builds up, meaning it needs to be stripped off every couple of years.
If we build up that soil layer and we block those fibres, then players are going to be slipping over and scrums aren't going to be bound together or anything.
The stadium's had a very busy schedule this year, and next year is set to be full on as well, so the next 2 months are the best time to revamp the pitch.
It's been a couple of years since our last one. We've had an absolutely hectic couple of years with the amount of events that have come through, especially Ed Sheeran, Pink and Shania Twain, best festivals, home and garden shows. But we've also looked at our schedule and there's been nothing booked for December or January, so it's a perfect opportunity for us to do this renovation.
The resowing process requires close on 1/2 tonne of grass seed, and all going well, February will see new turf ready in time for the concerts of Elton John and Queen, plus the return of rugby with next year's Highlanders. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Otago Regional Council is warning of rising waters in Lake Wanaka and Wakatipu, which could cause flooding as heavy rain hits parts of the south today. The Wairau Valley Highway, State Highway 63 between St Arnaud and Renwick, and the Tuapeka Mouth Punt Bridge on the Clutha have already been closed due to flooding. The New Zealand Transport Agency is urging drivers to drive slowly across the lower South Island, following road closures due to heavy rain overnight, causing slips and fallen trees. A Met Service heavy rain warning for the headwaters of Otago lakes and rivers is in place until 5 p.m. tomorrow. While in some societies a smaller physique is sought after, in some cultures bigger is better. When it comes to fledgling seabirds, being a big record-breaking fatty is a good thing.
This beefy, not so little blue penguin chick tips the scales at 1.48 kilograms, which is a record for this breeding season.
So it's my heaviest chick so far. At 1,480 grams, that's a very well done job by the parents.
The penguin, known as A80, is the heaviest bird Pukekura Trust scientist Hilton Rats has found since she began working there almost 4 years ago. And she says sometimes single chicks with 2 parents can often be bigger than chicks with siblings, which Rats says is the case with this family.
Especially since it's not a singleton. So if they're only raising one chick, you think it would be, 2 parents feeding one chick. It'll be fat. But they're raising 2, and the other one is above average as well. So those adults are very good fishermen.
However, A80 was slightly lighter yesterday than when first weighed weeks ago, as it may have been trying to gain more of an aerodynamic beach bod before swimming for the first time in the ocean. Rat says the colony at Pilots Beach Pukekura is generally more healthy than last year, when many birds had to be hand-fed.
A year ago we had a food crisis, and the parents were really struggling with providing food for the chicks.
Beaming like a proud mother, Hilton Rats says some of the chicks which were hand-fed last year have returned to parent the next generation.
It's like, your babies are coming home, and the ones that are your trouble children, if you like, have made it as well as the ones that were naturally fledged a bit earlier than during the food crisis.
This colony's 308 chicks are a long way from cartoon colonies in Antarctica.
Look at them, tumbling onto their chubby bomb-bombs. Who could take these frisky little snow clowns seriously?
But this is seriously good news, knowing they're in peak condition and heading for record numbers this season. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We have warnings of potential delays for travellers, and we meet a Wanaka artist with a penchant for perfect portraits. See you after the break.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put some colour in your life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
It's that time of year when we all spend time with our family and friends. Please enjoy Christmas, but keep an eye out for the people who are struggling and may need a helping hand. My office closes on the 20th of December, opens on the 13th of January. Have a great summer, a great Christmas.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
Merry Christmas everyone. Have a happy and safe new year from everyone at Garrador Dunedin.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
No mai nor, welcome back. The New Zealand Transport Agency says travellers should expect delays when travelling north of Dunedin this Thursday and Friday. Road crews will seal a number of sites on State Highway 1, north of Dunedin and at Herbert and Pukeuri on Thursday and Friday this week. The work is scheduled to take place between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m, weather permitting. The NZTA says work will be well signposted as stop-go sign holders direct one-lane traffic. A dozen Wanaka residents recently had oil paintings of themselves on display at a one-day pop-up exhibition. Everyone Deserves a Portrait was the title of the show, featuring works by well-known Luggett artist Stephen Martin Welk.
Wanaka school pupils taking in the 12 striking portraits by self-taught Luggett artist Stephen Martin Welsh, who won the National Adam Portraiture Award in 2012.
When I was self-imposed studying by myself, there was no one to learn from in New Zealand that I felt was a really good portrait painter. So I looked at a lot of overseas artists. I used quite a European palette.
Welch has painted many portraits of the rich and famous, but this pop-up exhibition entitled Everybody Needs a Portrait celebrates ordinary people from the Wanaka region who have extraordinary stories.
For me, portraiture started with my son, who's disabled. and the way that people would look at him. And I would think, why do they look at him differently? What's it about his face that makes people point, stare or laugh? And I had a slight epiphany where it's like, well, why don't we paint the disabled? Why don't we paint the disfigured? And so came Everyone Deserves a Portrait.
The exhibition includes local people who you might encounter around Wanaka, such as Robert the barista, and a boy named Louis who has Down syndrome. It was painting Louis's portrait that helped catalyse the idea of painting people normally not asked to model for portraiture.
For this exhibition, names were put forward and we looked at who they were without seeing them. I was like, that person sounds interesting, sign them up, without even seeing them. There have been 2 people that I've just seen in the New World and gone, okay, I've got my speech, I'm prepared, I'll go over and talk to them. Hey, look, I'm not a stalker, but I'm doing this kind of art project. Would you be interested? It's white, because you've just got this really cool lived-in face.
The pop-up exhibition was open to the public only for one day, with the 12 portraits then being donated to the people chosen to sit for the paintings. Welsh says his subject selection comes from a deep-rooted philosophy that everybody has equal worth and deserves a portrait.
Friends of ours have said, hey, have you met Dennis before? The local doctor. I was like, no. And they said, oh, great story. Gave me the rundown. I was just like, sign him up. Let's go and meet him. And we decided we were going to paint Dennis before we'd even met because he was just a really iconic local.
Also on display is a landscape of the Dart River Valley, where, at the invitation of the Paradise Trust, he spent a whole month painting during winter. The work is for sale to raise funds for the Paradise Trust. In Wanaka, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, students tackle a reoccurring problem in central Otago, and we have the weather for you. See you after the break.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
In my young life, I've learned how to accept Christmas is a great time for all the family and friends to get together. There's no harm in indulging in a little bit of alcohol and food. What we've got to realise is you need to moderate in everything you do in life, so we don't over-excess anything to create problems in your life. So I wish you a great Happy New Year and a prosperous 2020.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Thanks for staying with us. Back in August, we brought you a story about dog faeces causing a stink at St Gerard's School in Alexandra. Small plastic bags filled with dog mess were flung into the school play area on a daily basis. Following coverage on this channel and in the Otago Daily Times, the school reports that the dumping has now stopped. Unfortunately, it appears the same poo dumper is now throwing their bags of dog excrement elsewhere in the town. Pupils picking up rubbish recently discovered 45 plastic bags of faeces under a tree on the central Otago rail trail. A school teacher says it's upsetting to know the culprit had made the effort to pick up after their dog, but disposed of it in a way that would become another person's problem. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. More than $9,000 have been raised for mental health awareness through the mullet growing initiative Mullets for Mental Health. After a hectic year at Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium, the turf is now being ripped up and re-sown to hopefully create a lush field of grass by February. And the team looking after the penguins at Pukakuta on the Otago Peninsula are pleased to have heaps of healthy chicks this season. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Stu Oldham. Kia ora, Stu.
G'day, Simon. How are you, mate?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. Well, actually, we're on weather watch right now at the ODT newsroom. There's been a lot of rain falling across the region, and there's an enhanced danger of flooding through central Otago and on the west coast. So our reporters are currently down at the lakes of Lake Wakatipu, Lake Hawea, where they say are steadily rising, and there is a prospect that sandbagging may have to occur to protect some of those public spaces. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll be able to bring hopefully the full details tomorrow morning. We're also looking at the impact of a fire at a 150-year-old pub at Naseby. Now, it's a bit of a tragic story, this. The owners had leased it for a while and they've recently purchased it. Now it's been completely gutted by fire. It's unusable. And of course it's significant because in a town of Naseby's size, it relies on that sort of thing for tourism and for livelihoods. So we'll be bringing the full story on that too. We're also speaking to an Invercargill nurse who has just returned from vaccinating 890 people in one day in Samoa as part of the response to the measles epidemic. That's a remarkable number of people, and also shows too how significant this is over there. She's telling us about children that she's seen clinging to life, families who are beside themselves, do not know what to do, and it's the feeling that the epidemic is really taken hold and almost seems as though it can't be tackled by those that are there. Last week we were told about Ag Research's Invermay site, how that had been saved. We've since learned that Invermay staff have yet to be told what the future is for their jobs. So we've got Ag Research's response, and of course that's significant for our region because so much of the intellectual capital that we're using to make the most of our agricultural sector resides out there. We're also looking at Dunedin's ride-sharing space. It's about to hot up. Ola is coming to town to challenge Uber. Of course, there's not a heck of a lot in the way of Uber drivers in Dunedin anyway, so this could be interesting to see whether a very small market fragments. We'll have a look at that. And also, too, we're looking at Aurora Energy and their plans to levy more from the lines charges that they charge consumers. We're looking at whether or not those line charges may remain reasonably high for more than just the next 3 years that they've indicated.
That's great, Stu. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mulmap.
Starting off with today's southern view, looking out to sea from the edge of Otago Harbour. Looking at the situation, a few more days of strong westerly airflow lie ahead, with rain in the west and gusty winds in the east. The weather should settle down by the weekend. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are set for cloudy skies with rain and 17 degrees. Across to the northeast, and like those on the west coast, Nelson and Blenheim can also expect cloud, rain and 21 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, the grey weather continues down here. Kaikoura aims for 22, Christchurch should reach 23, and Ashburton, your predicted top temperature is 22 degrees. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can all expect strong northwesterlies, some rain and 16 degrees. Heading up to central Otago, strong northwesterlies and rain are the order of the day over here too. Wanaka 16, Queenstown 15. Alexandria, you're in line for 18, while Te Anau, you've also got rain and 15 degrees. To the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru have strong northwesterlies and high cloud. Timaru 23, Oamaru 21. Twizel and Omarama can both expect strong northwesterlies, some rain and 18 degrees. In Dunedin, fine tonight, looking an overnight low of 14 degrees. A few spits of rain tomorrow morning, then fine with sunny periods increasing in the afternoon. Fresh, gusty, mild northwesterlies, a high of 21 and a low of 14. High cloud on Thursday with mild northwesterlies and some showers late in the day with cooler southwesterlies, a high of 19 and a low of 12. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with an overnight low of 12 degrees. Cloudy tomorrow with strong gusty northwesterlies, a high of 17 and a low of 12. Cloudy Thursday with periods of showers and a few dry periods, cooler in the afternoon, a high of 15 and a low of 11. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.